Hello and welcome to my channel. What's in your GTI's refrigerator? Welcome back and thanks for being here. My name is Scott, and over the years I have shared some fairly nutty things that I keep in my GTI. I think about a year ago I shared a video of that one thing that every GTI owner wants for his or her car: a roof awning. Obviously I was exaggerating a little bit, and I haven't even put that awning to use in a real situation yet. But now I do have that one thing that I'm using that I really like: a refrigerator. How many times have you gone on a trip, whether it's an extended trip or just a day trip, you get a cooler, you put ice in it, and I don't know, your sandwiches get soggy. I mean, who really packs sandwiches in water anyway? But it just, something about that humidity, even if you bag everything up, it's just not quite the same. And if you're gone for a weekend or longer, then you have to maintain the ice, and the cooler has to be larger to hold all of that ice. I watch some overlanding channels, and they're very big into refrigerator units. They are just total game changers out in the wilderness. I decided, why not in my car for a road trip? I think it was about 3 years ago that my wife and I took this car on a road trip for Thanksgiving from Virginia to St. Louis. And my wife is the dessert queen, and so she had made some cheesecakes and other desserts, and we froze them. And so we had a 12-volt cooler, which of course is not going to maintain anything frozen, but we packed everything in this cooler with dry ice to keep things frozen. And it worked, but dry ice is expensive, and it was only good for the day and a half, I think is how long it took us to get there. But with this thing, this is a refrigerator, not a cooler, not a chiller, and it will cool down to as low as -10. I'll correct that if I have it wrong. It's either -5 or -10. I'll put a note up there. I forgot. But it is a refrigerator slash freezer, not a cooler or an ice chest. And because it doesn't have to contain ice, it can be smaller. This is a Dometic Cfx3 35 liter unit, and it fits perfectly underneath the parcel shelf here. If I close this down just enough to where you can see, it fits right under there, no problem. I chose a Dometic over much less expensive units because of their reputation. Yes, I have seen some of the cheap units that you can get through Amazon or other online resellers, and they seem to be hit or miss. People are very happy with them in the reviews until a year or two later when the unit fails. And I guess if you only pay 250 bucks for a unit and it lasts a year or two, then okay, good for you. This unit was more expensive. Right now I can't remember exactly how much it was. I'll flash an image for you to look at. And like I said, it's kind of a premium, but it's worth it in my opinion. I have not had any problems. The unit is about 6 months old, I think. And I use it from time to time. It's not a full-time use in my application, but someday, maybe. It's already gone across the country twice, technically, because it went from here out to California in the back of the car, and then later it rode in the trailer. So it was in a bouncing environment, rough environment, and it worked. The only problem that I've had with this thing is, and it could be because of the trailer or just moving around, but the cigarette lighter tended to vibrate out and it would come unplugged. But I use a Bluetooth connection with my smartphone to monitor the temperature in the refrigerator, so I'm able to see when something is wrong. I've got a remote thermometer, an indoor-outdoor thermometer. I put the outdoor sensor in here, and so I have two different ways that I can keep an eye on the temperature in the fridge. So if anything does happen, I'm covered. Now what it doesn't do, when you watch these overlanding channels or camping channels, they've got their refrigerators on nice slide outs and everything, and that doesn't work with this car. This Dometic fits perfectly beneath the parcel shelf, and right now it is right up against the top edge of the back seat, and so there is a cavity back there to allow the unit to breathe. But I cannot the unit opens this way. So if I were to put a slider in here to slide it out, I'd have to elevate it probably 2-3 inches to get it to clear, and then it would no longer fit under this. And so if I want to get in it, first I move my little knee pad out of the way, and then I just rotate it out like this and open her up. And it is packed with food for my upcoming trip. I am leaving on a road trip here pretty soon. I've got some berries and breakfast items, some mac and cheese from Panera Bread, and some pulled pork for pulled pork sandwiches, and I will be able to restock a little bit along the way. I also keep my my power cord for AC in here. It seems like a dumb place to keep it, but guess what? When it's in here, it can't get lost or separated. Right now, the unit is being powered by 12 volts. I am using a Jackery 500 to power it. So it's plugged into 12 volts, a cigarette style outlet down here. And overnight, the Jackery 500, it really is overkill for this application. Overnight, it will dip down to about 85% of its charge. I start up the car to go for a drive, even if it's just 30 or 45 minutes locally, and when I get home, it's charged up already. Now I'm using a pass-through method of charging. What I am doing is powering, the input is coming from a 400 watt pure sine wave inverter in the car, and I have the Jackery plugged into that. And I chose that method because the wall outlet provides more charge current than plugging it into another 12 volt source. So when I start the car, the inverter immediately fires up, and I'm providing, I can't remember how many watts are going in, but it's enough. I want to say it's around 80 to 85 watts from this charger, and it charges the unit up after sitting overnight in about within an hour. Let's just say within an hour. When I turn off the car, my inverter stays on for about 20 minutes. And so if I just stop for fuel or a quick rest break or something like that, the Jackery stays powered, the refrigerator stays powered, and it's not until I turn off the car for more than 20 minutes that I lose the power into the Jackery, but the Jackery will still continue to power the refrigerator. So it seems like a very good setup for this road trip. Camping trips, if I take this car on a camping trip, it will certainly work for that. Yes, it is overkill for my application, but seems to be how I roll with this car. How much stuff can I possibly pack into it? I never know if I'm quite done. Between ham radios, subwoofers, some camping equipment, first aid supplies, and stuff, I actually have a little bit of room right there for something. I don't know what I'm going to put there yet. I'm just kidding. Actually, my camera bag will probably wind up there for this trip. I'm all out of things to say about this refrigerator. It is a little refrigerator or a freezer, whichever is my choice. Feel free to ask questions if you have them. I'll be glad to answer. As always, I appreciate you being here, and I will see you next time. Take care. Funny thing is, it seems a little die-hard for me to be recording this in the rain. I came out here earlier between rain events and shot a video, and that seemed to be the time that the birds were chirping. I mean, this is nothing. They're out right now, but they were really loud earlier. And somebody else apparently had a fantastic idea that now is a great time to start doing some metal grinding and stuff like that. So yeah, that affected the video. But the reason I didn't run with it is because the autofocus on my camera, I must have had it turned off because it looked terrible. So now I'm out here reshooting this so that I can get it out to you before I hit the road. But that's my story. That's why I'm recording in the rain. Have a good one.